Christopher De Santiago with Sports Illustrated's MMA Knockout. Here today with Nathan the Reaper Rivera, who returns at BKFC 69 in Atlanta. It's a hometown game for you, Nathan. How's it going today?
It's going great, man. I'm excited to be, right now I'm about 10 minutes away from the venue, so I'm excited to be fighting here in the hometown.
Yeah, man. So the fight's at 145. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. What was the kind of diet situation like for you yesterday?
I mean, it was pretty standard. I mean, you wake up, I eat the same thing I eat every day that my nutritionist has me eating, which is like some oats, a protein shake, a banana, stuff like that. And then, lunch, I had like, of course, I had some turkey and I had a little like nibbles here and there of things. Still kept the calories low, like good enough. And then, finished out with the regular meal for the evening. So like overall, I think it was great because I got to taste a little bit of things and my weight is right where it needs to be.
Awesome, Nathan. Well, this time next week, you're going to be BKFC 69. I believe it's a 20-minute drive from Marietta. I guess what do you make of this, opportunity to show out in your hometown as well as on the zone?
Yeah, so it's gonna be awesome. I used to live in Marietta, now I live in Duluth, Buford, which is 5 minutes from Duluth. So it's 20 minutes from my house still. It's 10 minutes from my gym. It hits close to home. All the customers that I see every day, in my day job, they're gonna be coming out, because they all are in that same area. I actually just picked up from the hotel where all the fighters are gonna be staying, all of these posters,
Oh,
and I'm
cool.
going to be flipping these around to some local businesses, helping out the company as much as I can. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great show. I think from the first fight to the last fight, it's going to be fireworks, and especially my fight. Before, during, and after, I got some awesome things planned. So I think everyone should tune in. Always pressure, which is good because pressure makes diamonds. The brighter, I always say this, the brighter the lights, the brighter I'm going to shine. So I love being at home with all these people in the arena. I love that added pressure because it makes me perform so much better.
For sure, for sure. And, you're fighting Justin Street. I believe he has two fights, same as you in BKFC. I guess what do you make of him as an opponent, his fighting style? I guess what do you make of him?
Man, he's tough. He's tough. I think he's going on his 13th pro fight. I'm going on my fourth pro fight. He's battle tested. He's been in the game. He's had a long, great amateur career, a long professional career. And he's been in the squared circle as many times as me. I know he's coming up from 35. And I don't know if he's ever fought at 45, but I'm not really a small 45er. And I think he's fought at 25 in his career quite a bit. So I think that like size wise, I think that we won't be too, maybe a little bit different, but I know that he's bringing a lot of great cardio, a lot of great grit, and some really good pressure. So I'm excited to put on a show.
Talking about that grit and pressure, I mean, I guess do you expect to see him leave the first round, considering that you've, put out your opponents in the first round previously?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of research on him, of course. His two fights in BKFC, they've both gone the distance, and his fifth round looks the same as his first round. So I know he's got the cardio if he makes it there. But yeah, I'm kind of expecting a longer fight. I'd like to get him out of there early, but that's just the plan. We'll see what happens fight night.
Hmm. I believe you were an MMA fighter before you made a transition to BKFC. I guess kind of what kind of sparked that move to BKFC?
I had a lot of amateur boxing fights too. And I kind of took those in between my MMA fights. So I never was like strictly a boxer, and I never was strictly an MMA fighter. I was always bouncing when I was an amateur. I took one pro fight, and then BKFC was just on a rise, and I wanted to see what the hype was about, and I reached out to the matchmaker, and we got a fight booked. And ever since then, that was my sole purpose. I mean, that was my sole like direction for my career. It was just to be a BKFC fighter, and I'm excited to be able to bring that home for the first one. I mean, it's an honor to be on the card. And the no gloves, I mean, it was kind of just like, this is pretty crazy. Let's just see what happens. And then, next thing you know, I'm on my third fight, and I think it's going to be a really fruitful career.
Hmm. I saw that you wrote a letter to David Feldman in your last fight, and you said that you wanted a multi-fight deal. I guess do you have another letter in store for David Feldman after this fight?
Man, Dave is super cool, man. We talk frequently, and he there's definitely something cool planned. And I don't know if it'll be a letter, but it'll be something really cool that I think the fans will really love.
How happy were you with this multi-fight deal that you got after your last fight?
BKFC is one of those things where it just is climbing. I mean, my first fight was November and of last year, and in a year, I was at the Philly tryouts recently talking to some of the guys, and I was just like kind of it was the same day or maybe a day after that my debut was like a year ago, and I was just thinking to myself, this is crazy. And I was talking to the guys, I was like, since I started just in 1 year, it has just climbed. So to be part of an organization like this, where really like sky's the limit. I've never seen another organization climb the way that this has climbed in, 365 days. It's nuts. So I'm very excited to be part of it.
I guess for you, you're 27 years old, you're 2-0. What's the ceiling for Nathan Rivera as you move on with your BKFC career?
Dude, I want to stay put where I'm at. That's where I want to be. There's no other organization I want to fight for. There's no other rule set I want to fight for. This is where I want to be. And I'm pretty early in my professional career. I'm not necessarily like the youngest in the game. I know there's a ton of professional 22-year-olds, and even younger, so I'm towards the end of my 20s, but I still think I have quite a bit of time to cement myself as one of the best 145 pounders in the world in BKFC.
How would you describe your fighting style inside the ring?
Elusive is probably one of the words that people would describe me as. Elusive, and pretty quick, and I've never put on a boring fight a day in my life. So I usually I go for the kill. And I've reeled it back to where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna jab this entire fight. And I kind of tell myself, yeah, I'm just gonna be okay with just jabbing. If I just hit him with a jab for like 5 rounds, I'm cool with that. And then usually the finish comes shortly after. So I would say like a pressure fighter with really elusive footwork and head movement.
What do you feel like a win does for you next Friday? And I guess where do you think that puts you in the division moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, the top five is filled with killers. I think I belong in the top five, but I'm not one of those people that wants to rush getting
Mm.
anywhere. I just take a fight by fight by fight. The most important fight is the one that's in front of me. And wherever I land after that, I'm cool with it. There's a couple people that I would love to fight. Some undefeated guys that I'd like to take their O away from them. And if that lands me in the top five, I think that'd be awesome. But by the end of 2025, I don't think it will be. I don't think that I think I'll have a belt around my waist, or I will be in the top five and top three probably.
Hmm. You got a walkout song picked out already?
I got a couple. That I'm like thinking about. I usually like bounce between three or four, and then as soon as they like text me or the DJ or whoever it is, like usually BKFC staff reaches out and they're like, "Hey, what you walking out to?" Then I like pick one, but man, I got so many different things rolling through my head, so I haven't picked it out yet.
Uh-huh. Any like custom shorts for this one? Any custom shoes? Anything special for this fight kit?
I mean, of course, I have my fight shorts that have all my sponsors on them, and those are definitely one of one. No one else will have those. I got Barber Orthopedics, Priceless Nutrition, Mortgage Godfather, DeLashman Law Firm. I have all these people that support me, so I want to give them as much praise as I can, and represent them the best that I can as well. Yeah, I want to be busy. When I was the last time I talked to, well, a couple weeks ago that I talked to Feldman, I was like, hey man, like I don't want to be a Georgia fighter. Like I mean, I would love to fight in Georgia when they come, but I don't want to be a strictly Georgia fighter. Like I want to go around and I want to fight like 4 or 5 times next year. And he was pretty receptive to that. So I think 2025 will be busy for the Rivera era.
Awesome, Nathan. Well, last question for you. I didn't want to take up much of your time, but I guess what can the fans expect to see from you in Georgia?
The fans, if I fought in the local scene quite a bit as an amateur and as a pro. So the fans know that when I fight, it's loud in there. The place is packed out, and they're gonna see some fireworks. It's gonna be a show, you know what I mean? And there's, before, during, and after, there's always something to look for whenever I have a fight coming up. So I think everyone will be excited. Just watch what happens.